One day I'll never forget, I'm on the Tillicum Bridge in Portland, and, I did the hook of the video because you have to for YouTube, and then I'm like, hey, and also, if you're ever thinking about moving here to Portland, we get phone calls every day from people moving and relocating. We absolutely love it. We can help you move here and buy your house. Just give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. The next day, it was like 14 phone calls of people raving, going, oh my God, I didn't even know you guys were real estate agents. I'm so excited to find that out. I'm moving there. I have a $600,000 budget. Can you help me? And it was just like, whoa.
Welcome to the Builder Straight Talk podcast with your host, Michael Creasa. Get the unfiltered truth from the trenches of construction, real estate, and funding. This episode is made possible by our parent company, Sound Capital, funding built for builders.
What happens when buyers stop looking for a salesperson and start searching for a trusted advisor instead? In today's world, builders can spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on signage ads, marketing campaigns, and still lose to somebody like me that's standing in a backyard using their cell phone to record video. My guest today discovered something that completely changes the game, and that is people don't buy houses first. They buy trust first. And builders, realtors, and entrepreneurs who learn how to create content, trust content online, that is, will create the trifecta of know, like, and trust, which is so much more powerful than any type of ad that you can put out there. And more importantly, when somebody reaches out to phone you, they already feel like they know, like, and trust you. In today's conversation, I get to sit down with a gentleman by the name of Jackson Wilkey, and he's one of the pioneers behind relocation-based YouTube marketing and the creator of a wildly successful course called Living in the YouTube Channel System. Living in YouTube Channel System. Now, starting as a blue-collar lineman in North Idaho, Jackson taught himself how to do video production using a simple laptop, and then discovered the psychology behind trust-based content, and eventually helped generate more than 800 home sales directly from YouTube-driven leads. How cool is that? Now, here are just a few of the things that we're going to talk about. Why builders are losing buyers by marketing their homes as the star instead of making themselves the star in their movie. The psychology behind know, like, and trust, and why raw, authentic video consistently outperforms polished corporate marketing. How documenting mistakes, lessons learned, and behind-the-scenes decisions creates a deeper consumer trust. And the exact type of videos builders should create right now to attract relocation buyers and future homeowners, and so much more. And speaking of so much more, here's a little favor I have to ask you. We don't do any advertising within the Builder Straight Talk content, as you've discovered. We rely on your help to get the word out there. So with a simple click of your mouse, pretty please, subscribe, like, and share. I'm going to repeat that. Subscribe, like, and share, because that helps get our videos into the algorithm so more builders like you can discover what we're doing here at Builder Straight Talk. So without further ado, well, one more ado, subscribe, like, and share. Okay, without further ado, let's get into this conversation with Jackson Wilkey. I know you're going to enjoy it. Well, Jackson, my friend, I'm excited to have you on today's call. You are a man after my own heart, being a video guru, which is something I did for the past 10 years leading up to COVID, which is travel all over North America, teaching realtors how to do video. And I'm fascinated by what you're doing to help builders get their properties sold. So without further ado, me bantering on, first of all, welcome. And give us
Thank
a
you.
little bit about the backstory. What got you into doing video and what are you doing now?
Well, actually, we talked before, but I didn't know that is what you did. But crazy thing was, I'm from North Idaho, way up north, and blue collar dude, was a journeyman lineman, working power lines, worked on a ranch, and then just got fed up with that lifestyle and job or whatever. And a good buddy of mine was working over in Portland, Oregon as an escrow officer for real estate. And his wife and my wife are best friends. And I was just kind of telling him, tired of this crap. And he's like, dude, you'd be awesome at sales. And I'm like, I don't care what it is. I'll do it. So anyways, long story short, I ended up getting this job in Portland, Oregon, Beaverton, Oregon, as a sales rep for escrow. So I went from like building power lines and, logging and working cattle to now I got to teach realtors how to get more business. So I couldn't have been more lost, but right out of the gate, I didn't have a lot of social media or anything, but I realized that was like the path. And if I was going to break down these walls to like be able to talk and communicate with real estate agents and get their business, I needed to learn it. I kept meeting with real estate agents, asking what you need help with, this and that. And this is probably 2016-ish, 17, probably 2015, 16-ish. And every single one of them said the same thing. I know I need to be doing video, but I just don't know how. I was like, all right. So I kept hearing that. And I kind of went down the rabbit hole of like Facebooks and Instagrams and how to do that. But since I kept hearing it, I bought this like cheap $200 MacBook on eBay, and I just self-taught myself how to shoot and edit videos. And what I ended up doing was like, all right, I'm going to reverse engineer this. After about 6 months, I kind of got my confidence and I started shooting videos to real estate agents locally about how to shoot videos. And I was even running small ads, $10, whatever. And I didn't get any like really direct calls or reach outs about it. But the craziest thing happened is when I started walking into these offices, I started getting a lot of weird looks, like they recognized me. I was just this guy, and I was like, oh, wow. And then I did all the salesy style videos and, do this and grow your business and get more listings. And then I was like, man, I started like getting good with the videos. So I started shooting these barbecue videos where I was like smoking ribs or brisket, and I would put it out to the same audience, and it completely changed my business. It had nothing to do with helping realtors get business, but I would walk in, they're like, "What are you smoking this week? Oh my god, your ribs video was amazing. This." And I just became like the rib guy, the barbecue guy, and it broke every wall down. And I started landing top realtors, and it kind of just gave me this like, "Oh man, it's more about who you are than, what's on the video." And so I ended up meeting who's my now business partner, but, he was an agent, that was new in the game, but did like 24 deals, one of those killers, and I started shooting videos for and with him, and we just really linked up. And the one thing I learned about real estate agents is I would call and be like, "Hey, I'll shoot your videos, I'll edit them, I'll do them all." They would never show up. They were too scared. Well, this kid always did. And so we started talking, and I see all the production he's doing, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing over there? Like, you don't make no money as a he's like, "You need to get into real estate." And I'm like, "All right." So I'm only 11 months into this new gig, wife, 2 kids, pretty broke. And, I'm like, "Hon, I'm getting into real estate and I'm gonna just kill it with video. Like, this is too easy. I'm working with these agents. They're selling this." And well, I found out pretty quickly it's a lot harder than you think. So I just shot videos every day. And I went down the rabbit hole of kinda like the digital mayor where I was gonna do a bunch of restaurant interviews and local videos, and I did them every day. I put them on every platform, and I still to this day never got any leads out of it, but no matter where I went, everybody in the neighborhoods and the community, they all knew me. Like, everybody knew me. And what happened was I started kind of a podcast like this and just talking with agents who were doing video. And I would always post-production ask them like, "Man, that was killer. I love that video I did. I'm gonna do that too. How many deals have you gotten from it?" And every single person was like, "Oh, man, you can't even quantify it, but I know I'm getting out there and getting my face everywhere." And but I'm just like, "Damn, like, that's the same feeling I have. Like, I can feel it, but it's not feeding my kids, you know?" So I interviewed this one gal. She was a blog writer, and her husband was military relocation. And I'm talking to her, and she started doing some YouTube videos. And I'm like, "Man, that's fascinating." In this time, 15, 16, like Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, that was all the rage. Nobody was talking YouTube. And if you did YouTube, it was just upload your listing video, that kind of stuff.
Or cat video still at that time. Yes.
Right. And it was
Yeah.
just like, and nobody really grasped like the keyword side of it. And the only reason she did YouTube videos, she's a blog writer, but she learned by this point, video had become so dominant that like if you actually put YouTube videos in your blog, it helped you rank higher. So she would take other videos and put them in her blog. And then she was like, why don't I just shoot it myself? So she really mastered that like SEO game for blog writing and doing all that. And then by chance, just started shooting the same video title. And after that call, I'm like, "That's so cool, man. I've never heard anybody do that." I'm like, "You close deals?" She's like, "Oh, yeah. I mean, if I have to have a closing today, I've already closed like 10 of them." I'm like, "Holy shit." I don't know if I can cuss on this podcast, but it was like the biggest aha moment ever. And I'm like, "Man, that's it." So I started kind of going down that rabbit hole of like, wait a minute. Like, if I'm going to do these videos, they've got to go in front of people when they're actively buying, right? Like, if I talk about the sales process or the escrow process or the inspection, those people are already working with agents. Like that's so far down the funnel. And I slowly started doing YouTube videos, but I still was doing my Facebook, Instagram, and I had a podcast about it, and all this stuff. And it took me some time, but I kind of started figuring out. And then one day I had this just like epiphany. I started looking at actual keyword research. And there's two different types back then, especially. There was like keywords everywhere would tell you how many times people were searching like just Beaverton, Oregon into Google. And it was 37,000 times a month. And I'm like, whoa. Well, there was other video tools for YouTube. And I typed that into those keyword research tools for YouTube, and Beaverton was searched 385,000 times a month. And I'm like, dude, people are searching these suburbs 10, 12, 15 times a month more on YouTube than Google. So I go to YouTube and I type it in, and there's a handful of just videos from non-real estate agents, like shaky cell phone camera, and they're ranking. And my business partner, who is still today, I'm like, dude, we need to go out and like vlog these communities. Nobody's doing this at this point, like really in the real estate world and trying to generate. So we start doing these vlogs of Beaverton and Tigard and Lake Oswego. And once we started getting, we started, and I was editing, I was making them fun beats to them and like drone. And it was just different. Nobody had seen these, and they really started working well. And the YouTube channel was growing, but again, we weren't really getting many phone calls from it. And so we were working with a lender at the time he was really fun too. He did videos, and we kind of made this partnership. And the owner of the bank that he worked at is like, dude, he had us in one day and he's like, those videos you're doing are the most insane videos. I've never seen anything like that. He goes, are you getting any deals from it? And I'm like, not really, no. He's like, are you telling anybody to call you? I'm like, no, you can't do that. It's too salesy. They'll jump off the video. He goes, no, Jackson, people are idiots. You have to tell people what to do. And I'm like, are you sure? He goes, dude, you need to tell people in your video that you do real estate and to call you. And so the channel's growing, videos are going, and one day I'll never forget, I'm on the Tillicum Bridge in Portland, and I'm like, I came up with this, like, you know, I did the hook of the video because you have to for YouTube, and then I'm like, hey, and also, if you're ever thinking about moving here to Portland, we get phone calls every day from people moving and relocating. We absolutely love it. We can help you move here and buy your house. Just give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. The next day, it was like 14 phone calls of people raving, going, "Oh my God, I didn't even know you guys were real estate agents. I'm so excited to find that out. I'm moving there. I have a $600,000 budget. Can you help me?" And it was just like, whoa. So that's kind of the origin story of it. And then fast forward to today, I've launched personally 14 YouTube channels in different markets and closed over 800 homes from those videos, and created the entire living in system that you see on YouTube today with these living in channels.
Okay, so there's so much there that you've put out on the table. So let's unpack it bit by bit. Going back to the beginning, so you and I probably were running parallel paths because I think I got into it. COVID hit what, 2020? So
Yeah.
2010, 29, somewhere around there. That's what I was doing, teaching realtors. The big stumbling block I found, and you can attest to this too. I'm too fat, too ugly, too anything with a two out front of it, because it
Yeah.
was all about personal perception, if you will, and they had to get over that fear. It wasn't so much pressing the button; it was pressing the button and accepting who you are,
Yeah.
right? And the big stumbling block was again too fat, too ugly, and I would tease them. If I could get them to laugh at themselves, the realization was you better laugh at yourself because there's an army of people that will beat you to it.
Yep.
A
Yep.
and once they got over that fear, then the content creation was the easy side. You alluded to it that one of the other perceptions was that you had to have a professional videographer. It was gonna cost a gazillion dollars to have some guy following you around, when in reality, the example that I used to use was a really shaky black and white movie. It was called The Blair Witch Project. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember that. It was a
Oh
horror
yeah.
story, and I don't remember the numbers right now, but it's grotesque. It cost something like 7 grand to produce, but netted almost $1 million. So, money in, shaky, ugly video, profit out, extraordinary. And the
Yeah.
takeaway was the less professional it was, the more authentic it was, people made that connection. And I think you alluded to it again. You discovered that people were coming up to you and you were this rock star.
Yep.
And part of that is it's called parasocial behavior. When people see you
Yep.
on video, the assumption in the brain is, well, number one, you must be an authority because you're on TV. Even though we're watching it on a computer screen or a phone, the perception still is it's TV. And we've been lured into believing, it's changing now, fortunately, that you must be the authority. So
Mhm.
that gives you such a distinct advantage over your competition. But on top of that, there's that trifecta of know, like, and trust. And the more videos they watch of you, that's that parasocial behavior kicking in, they feel like they know you. They
Yep.
feel like you're their friend because the parts that they don't see, they're getting a visceral response from, if you want to call it the aura, the feeling that they're getting from you watching your videos. And that's so intense. And the big breakthrough for me was they're either going to like me or they won't. And if they don't, that's okay because from a realtor's perspective, I'd rather lose them faster
Yep.
than driving them around in my car on weekends and then getting that faithful phone call. Hey, Michael, guess what? We bought a house, but
Yep.
from a different realtor.
Yep.
Right. So you've tapped into all that. The parallel that I also want to make here is builders that are in on this call, even though we're saying realtors. Let's take that word realtor out and put builder in, and it's exactly the same thing. So
Yeah.
let's take it from there. Now that you're doing stuff with builders, and I guess the quality of your videos are more professional, if you will. You actually have thought behind it. You've got, I'm willing to say, not a script that you're reading a dialogue, but you've got a before, beginning, and end. And now you've got the definite call to action because people need to be led. So you've
Right.
made that discovery too. Tell us about what you're doing now and what the difference was from what you were doing before.
Not a huge difference. It's just like anything where, you put up 10,000 shots, you're gonna make more in a game type of thing. But like, 2 points I wanna touch on. The most life-changing things that happened to me two times were, one, when I was a sales rep for escrow and I did barbecue videos. That's what knocked that first wall down, and I realized, "Oh, they just wanna be around me, and I'm getting deals." The second one was with Portland. I thought I had to be the local Portland and the top real estate agent. That's what, you're trained, and I took a huge risk one day and did a video, like, what it was like moving to Portland, Oregon, my story, and I was so fearful of it, and I was like, I really wanna put it out because I know it can help a lot of people, but everybody's gonna find out I'm a fake phony. I'm not the top agent. I'm not a local, and I really just kinda painted the picture of what it was like moving there. I don't wanna go too deep into it because 'cause it'll take forever, but, like, I talked about moving there with kids and how expensive daycare was, and if you're moving to Portland, the first thing you need to do is lock daycare down before you figure anything out. And that video went nuts, and we got more leads, and I had crying moms and, like, that I saved their life, and all of that to say that if you have any business, whether you're a builder, whether you're a freaking doctor, like, it's people wanna work with people they relate with, and the more raw you can be, and the more stories you can tell, they just wanna work with you. So, fast forward to today, I make some really fun videos, and I put a lot of effort into them. But at the end of the day, what you're seeing me on this podcast, a t-shirt and shorts, that's what I wear in my videos. I get a lot of people to say, "Oh, I'll never work with Jack. She's not professional." I don't care. Like, I've sold 800 homes by just people, and the crazy part is I've learned I don't do anything on social media, Facebook or Instagram, besides family, fun. It's like I'm a real jokey kind of guy and fun, outgoing. So I'm typically like making fun of my kids or doing something funny. I get so many DMs and Facebook messages from clients because I've learned they're not only watching me on YouTube, but then they go to my social to see if I'm a real guy. And then they see I got these kids and I'm always messing around. They're like, "Dude, you are like my identical twin, man. I'm moving to Houston. We got to move there. You got to help us." So I've just really, and what I coach a lot of students real high end. It's elite coaching, and the number one thing we're working on, I just got off a coaching call before this. The last half of it was all about just how to be more raw. They're just like, "Jackson, your stories, like, the way it keeps me on the edge of my seat." And I don't really know I'm doing it. I'm literally just storytelling in these videos and having fun, and I'm very honest, "Hey, I don't really like this. I don't really like that," because the whole world doesn't like one thing, it's very diversified, and if you keep that open mind of just kinda showing stories of who really likes these areas or styles of homes and who doesn't, then that earns the trust. Then even if I don't really like an area, but somebody does, but I say, "It's just not for me," but we have a lot of clients who like it because of X, Y, and Z, and that's why you need to reach out to us because we're gonna help you find your spot. I don't want to be a realtor who just points you in a direction like everybody. Oh, this is the greatest spot. No, we need to figure out who you are. And so the like big takeaway, in the builder world and what we see a lot of times with their marketing is very just it's the house is perfect. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just the cutest, the greatest, the best, and it's just not painting a story. Like what's near that area? What are you like? Why did you build that house? There's a reason you build a certain style of home and it fits a certain style of person. And when you uncover that, your goal is not to sell your house to the entire world. There's a niche audience for the style of home that you build. And I've just cracked that code with my videos. So I catch the people before they go to the builder and we help them by, asking them a lot of questions of the style of home, the style of community that they want to get into the home because, there's a lot of houses I go into. I'm like, I don't like it, and I'll say that. But there's a lot of people who buy those homes and they're very popular because they're different than me. They don't have three rowdy ass kids and all that stuff.
From the builder's perspective, I think they have to realize that people are checking them out first. I mean, they're looking at the homes, but the builder needs to be the star of the movie. All right.
Yep.
And the house is
Yeah.
in the background. You've got to be the main, you're the hero of the story. And people want to get that warm, fuzzy feeling from you, that whole idea of know, like, and trust. So getting the builder into the videos, and again, it doesn't have to be professional, but a lot of tips I've given to builders is show me how the home is built. Like, take me behind the scenes, show
Yep.
me how the sausage is made. Here's how the foundation goes in, because you're educating me. And
Yep.
an educated consumer is more deadly than an uninformed one because, again, you're building that know, like, and trust factor. So if you were to sit down with a builder right now and say, here's a strategy of what you need to implement, forget the fact that you're spending big bucks on advertising, signage, things that you can't track. And that's the pitfall. That's advertising where you throw money out to the gods and you hope something comes back. Marketing is the science where for a dollar I spend, I can see how many clicks. I can track the results. And if something's working, then I'm really going to lean into it. So,
Yep.
what are some of the tips that a builder can incorporate now? But take it right back to the beginning. What's the story? What should I be telling?
So what I've done, and again, I've traveled the country starting YouTube channels in markets I've never stepped foot in. So what I have to do first is unpack, like, it's funny because a real estate agent will pick me up and they have stacks of papers and data and notes. And like a builder would do the same. Like, here's all our drawings, here's all our this. And I'm just like, throw it in the back. Why you've had clients move here. Why are they moving here? What's new here? What areas do you see a lot of people going to? And it's so funny because that real estate agent or that builder will just like, ugh, they'll spew on you. You turn the camera on and it's like, hi, I'm the this and that, or I build this home. So I like to unpack the stories behind everything. That's what sells. The other aspect of this, I think I can really mirror and help a builder out is by another YouTube channel that I have, which I do house flipping. In the house flipping world and in the building world, it's always gurus or it's always the best of the best. And I build the best. It's just like I've sold a million homes. I've never, taken a loss on a house flip. It's all gurus. And I looked at the house flipping market on YouTube and I'm like, there's no beginning stories. There's no bad deals. There's no like rough edges. There's no I couldn't learn anything from any. It was gurus and it was like courses. And so with builders, a lot of times too, it's always just this finished product and how perfect it is. So I started documenting my journey of house flipping from day one. I expose everything, every mistake. I thought a hard money loan was like illegal. I was going to have to go in the back alley. I didn't know. But I documented that and I say that thing. That YouTube channel from where it is at the start to where I'm at now, I've currently done like 7 house flips. I've lost money on 2 of them. I've been slapped by the city. 100% documentation, evergreen forever, and it's basically a Netflix series. I have tens of thousands of people viewing that every day because of how raw, open, and honest I am. So when you think about a house being built by a builder, they got to a certain point a certain way. They've seen every mistake. They build it a certain way because they used to do it this way and something happened. So, you know, the more raw, open, honest you can be about a product or whatever it is and the story behind it is what's going to build the trust. So at the end of the day, I mean, houses are houses. You're going to spend a lot more for custom. If your budget's a little bit lower, then or higher, whatever, you've got to be telling that story. So, going through that house and talking about, hey, this is actually we do a central heating floor here or whatever. I'm just like making up stories. And we actually, we used to do this back in the day because clients always wanted it. And man, we had a couple of them leak and it was terrible because we used to use this product. So we actually found a really good one now. It's got a 50-year warranty on it. And, I feel so bad. Back in the day, we didn't know any better, but man, we've really stepped this up. And even down to the drywall, like we used to just use half-inch drywall here in these corners, but we found that, they're always dinging, they're chipping. And so we really, apply this extra primer, whatever it is. That builder probably has 100 horror stories of things that have gone wrong, they fix. And by documenting that, there's one gal who does it really well, man. And I've followed her, she does custom builds and man, it's down to the studs, and she not only explains what went in, but, like, what they used to do and the mistake and why they do it a certain way now. That's it. That's where all the trust is. There's no money needed for that. And again, I don't spend a dime, not one penny on ads. I don't I don't need to. My goal is to find people when they're searching, okay? So, like, if you're buying a home in Houston, 5 things you need to know. And then in that 5 things you need to know about buying a house in Houston, it better be 5 mistakes that you've seen, right? I do, 5 things I'd do if I start a house flipping business again, and I would do this because when I first started, I did this, 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 and I lost a shitload of money. Number 2, I would go right in and I would create a, relationship with a hard money lender. I thought I had to do it alone. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't realize all the resources that they had. They have the deals, they got the contractors, and when I started, I was, 6 months into this and I didn't even have an LLC set up yet or all that. Like, so I just go like pain point, my mistakes, pain point, my mistakes, pain point, my mistakes. And instead of like 5 just glorified, my house is the best, my house is that, like, I would be looking for the and guess what? If they don't like your product, you can also say, I have really good, standing relationships with a lot of different builders and I can point you in that direction. Referrals back and forth, those kind of things. So the way that I've just learned is by one, I'm raw and honest on my channel, on any channel that I do. 2, I'm going to tell a lot of stories of what I've done or what clients have done and the mistakes they've made and how they've overcome it. And I don't want you to make that same one. There's the trust. And then 3, I'm really just gonna highlight everything around it. A house is great, but we all know if you buy a house in the wrong spot, life isn't that good. So, a builder needs to really express why they chose a certain area, The reason for this area is because of what's surrounding it or what's to come.
Yeah, there's so much perspective or potential content from a builder's perspective because when they look at a patch of land, they're already scoping out, okay, where are the churches, where are the schools, what's the infrastructure? And those are the exact same things that a potential buyer is looking for. So there's content right there going through the process of what was it about this area that motivated you to build here.
Yep.
With real estate agents, and this would apply to builders as well, I used to say, get a yellow pad of paper. And it's the Ben Franklin approach. And you've probably heard this. When you're sitting down with a potential buyer, there's common questions that they always ask. So, what are the 10 arbitrary 10 common questions that as a builder you get asked all the time?
Yep.
Write down those 10 questions. But you, as the professional builder, know they don't know what they don't know. And so, there's 10 other questions that you, as a builder, would be asking if you were buying that home, or if it was a family member you would be walking them and taking them by the hand saying, you need to ask these 10 questions. There's 20 questions. And now they start off with the intro. Hey, it's Bob Smith here with, ABC Builders here in, Portland, Oregon. Here's the number one thing you need to know. As a matter of fact, we've created a series of 20 things, but here's the first one in that series.
Yep.
And so what you've done is you've created the anticipation for, oh, number one. Okay, what's number 2? What's number 3? Number 4? So it's kind of like the cliffhanger in the old days when we used to watch TV and the show would end, and you know part 2 was going to be next Thursday at 8 o'clock.
Mhm.
So you create that anticipation. So the biggest roadblock that I find with people getting into videos, what do I say? What do I do? That's the easiest way to get started right off the bat. There are 20 chapters, if you will, or 20 titles that you will for a video. AI right now will spit out an infinite number of topic ideas for you. And we didn't have that when we were starting out. So let's get back to something from a buyer's perspective, and I'm interested, there is no perfect home. So for you as the person that's trying to entice them to reach out to you and say, "Hey, Jackson, I want to buy that home," or "I'm looking to buy a home in Houston." You're taking them through, and you're not trying to tear the home down, but you are showing the imperfections. Here's things that you should need to know about this house. Maybe the chimney needs repointing, depending if it's a brand new home, or versus resale home. But you're pointing these things out. So number one, that's creating a deeper amount of trust with you because you're not trying to sell them on any one thing. And by pointing out things in this home, you're also making them aware of things they should be looking for in other homes, right?
Right.
How does a builder cross that line when they're showcasing homes that they built?
Yeah, so it's really like I said. So one, if a builder is really uncomfortable with doing this, like finding a good YouTube agent in their market is probably goal number one because we've already got the audience, and I've I've completely sold out developments. Like I've had 200 people go into a development after one of my videos on a Saturday and their heads are spinning. So like that's one thing, I just want to get out of the gate too. We instead of just an agent who sits in the house, like, hey, and all we do is work with the buyers and get the commissions from that. And a lot of times, we've had now builders reach out and, pay us a marketing budget, but there's strategic relationships that they can make too if they want to go about this their self. Again, you just have to realize where's the person at in the process. So yes, I think the top 10 questions when building, right? Those are great. And as well as like, yeah, that whole documentation process of why you chose the area. And also realizing that with this evergreen content, like it's not for tomorrow. It's not for a lead today. Like it's building this like library that lasts for a very long time. A lot of these developments are being built for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 years. And the phases continue to expand and grow and what's coming new to the area. And to be honest, I mean, if a builder really just replicated what I did in that area and highlighted their properties and what they're building and coming, they would be very successful. So it's like top of funnel. What I've learned, especially with people buying now, when you're talking hyper local, it's a little different. They kind of know these areas. They're very interested in it. They'll go walk it. That's more of like a localized Facebook, Instagram play. I've just learned my niche is that relocation style buyer, which right now, especially in the Sun Belt, is plentiful, right? There's a lot of freaking people. And so we leverage the stories of moving there and really dissect the areas very well so that they get a taste of what each area is like. But with the calls to action is we can help you. So again, if a builder called me today and said, I want to hire you to just, sell our product, I'm still going to probably do my same style of thing. Like I got to get the stories behind it. I got to understand the area, why they built there, who likes it, who doesn't, and go that route, right? So I was just talking with a builder actually at the gym like a month ago. They're on the more affordable side, but what they do is different than like just putting a name out there like a DR Horton or a Lennar. What they do, these metal metal plates in their driveways that are waved so that the concrete doesn't raise up and lower. They go with thicker studs. They still can make an affordable price. So he gave me like 5, 10 different things that they do while still keeping that price point lower than the big box brand. And they don't build 2,000 homes a year. They're more like, hey, we focus on our 40, 50, 30, 40, and we just do things a little bit different. So their target niche audience is still that more affordable home, but they're putting a little bit more touch and quality, and they got more, hands on the deal with the client and with the home. So it's more of a personalized touch. And I'm like, that it's a beautiful story. So I would be able to leverage that. Like, hey, if you're more in this price point, we found a real special builder who's going to be able to give you, more of those added upgrades and qualities to a home at a good price. And I would talk about the area, do everything, but I would really just get his story and be like, you told me something funny in the gym. Something I never thought about is that form board that you do in the driveways. Cause my driveway right now has got a giant pothole in it. Like I'm thinking about getting that right now. Oh yeah, we actually did that because we had a lot of driveways lifting a year later. We're in Houston. And so we really wanted to eliminate that. And, it's a little added cost to us, but, it's not going to cost you a fortune and be extra. But those are the little things that we really want to put our handprint on this product and make people talk about it. So in fact, we added this and added that. But again, it was pain point, right? It was the driveways were lifting. We got to solve that. and they added this extra metal form board in there. They made, thicker studs. They used, the expanding PEX plumbing so that, if it freezes or hot, whatever, and they put a few more upgrades in there. And they realized that they're not selling to the world. They're selling to this niche audience. And so you got to target, you got to really peel the layers back and see who's my real target audience here. What do they like? And then we got to really talk about that. If you go on the high end, if you're a custom home builder, million, million five, 2 million plus, like I'm gonna break down what styles of floor, the countertop, like somebody who's in that luxury mindset. In fact, I worked with a luxury agent and I was touring with them and it kind of blew my mind because I'm more like that mid tier, like that 600 to 800. And it's really about like the big Texas home, two, three kids, four kids running around, having the media room. And then I'm touring with this luxury agent, and everybody wants to tap into luxury. And it's always about the price and how nice everything is. And this, and he noticed the knobs on the oven. He noticed the style of granite on the, or style of whatever the countertop material was this like imported material. He know like the little micro detail, and he got excited about it, right? And so he would get phone calls from people who were looking luxury because he knew like the nuts and bolts behind it, And so if it's acreage, if it's 55 plus, whatever that is, it's really that all encompassing area, and then what your home differentiates as.
Well, it's like you're speaking their language. You understand that if it's a luxury buyer, here are the things that really excite them, and they're
Right.
looking for quality, and they know based on maybe they've already lived in one or two luxury mansions, whatever you want to call it. So they've got a certain thing that they're looking for versus, a starter home. A couple just got married, they're buying their first home. For them, it's probably about price, convenience, daycare, all that kind of stuff. So again, it's almost like learning a different language, and you have to be able to articulate in a way they understand that. Let's peel it back for a second. You mentioned something about the builder that's doing 50 homes. Let's say we got somebody 10 to 50. What's the YouTube strategy that they need to implement? Give me something really tactile that they can get their hands around. Like, here are their marching orders. If I were the builder and I'm building 50 a year, here's what I would do starting today.
I would start with like price point. Like, are you 10 to 50 and they're going to be like, and I'm using Houston as a reference, like that 250 to 350 range, which is more starter, or is this 10 to 50 customs, right? I need to know this first because I don't know who my audience is, right? So if you give me an example, I can go off of that.
Well, I'm saying you're the builder. Okay.
Exactly. So as like a role play, you're like, okay, this is 10 to 50 a year and it's more custom high end. Then I'm gonna do some videos of like, the nicest custom homes in Houston, Texas. 5 things you need to know before buying a custom home in Texas. How long does it take to build a custom home in Texas? Custom homes on acreage in Texas. I wanna dominate that search term, right? And then that allows me to really unfold my story. And again, you gotta think about this. Everybody, builders, real estate agents, everybody who's marketing in the world, at one point, especially when they're starting out, says, "I don't care. I'll work with anybody." No, like, I'd rather see you have 50 homes. That's 50 people that you need to reach, not 500,000, not 5 million. And so the more that you can niche, the narrower you can get and stay on that road, the more you'll sell. I have to work with clients or agents every day when I'm coaching them because they say the same thing, like, "Man, I'll work with anybody." And I'm like, you have to realize if you do a video over here about $250,000 homes and it goes crazy and people love it and they watch that video and go nuts, and the next one is a $1.5 million home, well, you just built your algorithm. You just built your entire audience off 250. You do a 1.5, well, they might watch it, but they can't afford it. And then they're just going to shit talk in the comments like, that's too expensive. So when you do that back and forth kind of stuff, then you're kind of building these different audiences. And when they don't like a new video that you do because it's out of their budget, it's a different style than what they like, they may click on that video, but they'll click off. I'm kind of getting deep in the weeds in the analytics, but what that does is just pull every video down. It ruins the channel analytics. So again, going back to my house flipping reference, I saw that. I'm a trained YouTuber and I am strictly, it's all about starting a house flipping business. The mistakes I've made, my first flip, my second flip, I've got that built-in audience, of that. So as a builder, 10 to 50 homes, you're going to try to do, if you're custom, it's all custom homes in Texas, custom this, custom that, and you're not straying away from it. And you don't need 10,000 views. You don't need 30, 300, whatever views on that, but they're long average view duration. I do long videos, at least 15, 25 minutes long. Most of my videos are an hour long. That viewership, is going to go out and find ideal audiences just like them and put your videos in front of them. So you've got to find your niche, the people you're talking to, and you got to leverage keywords of that. Custom homes is a big keyword. If someone wants to build a custom home over in Delaware, that doesn't do you any good. So it's like custom homes in Toronto. It's custom homes in Houston. It's the keyword and then like long tail keyword, right? And then you just really focus on that.
From the videos that you're producing, you can be caught up in the vanity of the number of clicks you get. Is there a type
Mhm.
of video that you've seen rather than getting clicks, you're actually getting response? Like people are actually lifting up their hands and saying, Jackson, I want to work with you versus, oh, this is really cool. I'm getting a million clicks.
Yeah. Again, ours differentiates and it could for the builder as well. I'm catching a person when they're in their early search stages, which is again, they're trying to figure out area first, then house, right? So for me, my vlogs of like city suburbs, I do a lot of map videos. So I'll hop on the map and really dissect the areas. The reason those videos work so well is because I can strategically get my calls to action in there a lot more. Like, this area, you may not like it that much, but guess what? We have a phone call. I can help you find 2, 3 areas you probably never even heard of that are gonna fit you perfectly. So, I'm always kinda ruling, "Hey, you may not like this as much, but I can help you." I do a lot of videos where I open it up and like, "Hey, I'm gonna talk about this area, such and such, and, the good news is, you're gonna really be able to find maybe a few spots that you might like, but most importantly, a bunch of areas that you're gonna hate to live in, and you need to be able to rule out a lot of these areas. For me, leveraging those kind of videos, map videos and vlogs, they just it's what the viewer really wants, and then again, it allows me to get a lot of calls to action in there. But the thing about it is, and as you experience, and as I experience, like, you gotta shoot 10, 15, 20 videos to figure out what the audience likes. A lot of people wanna shoot a video or 2 and then get it out there and it didn't work. It just doesn't work for me. And it's really that consistency, and that's why I like long form YouTube videos too, because I'm doing 1 a week maybe or 2, but they have the ability to work for me for years and years and years and years down the road. The other thing, that works really well, again, mirroring my house flipping is, I mean, I do vlog the homes and showcase everything, but when I break down the numbers of how much it costs to get a hard money loan and the behind the scenes of all that, those videos do extremely well, and it's when I get the most reach outs from new investors, and what we've been able to do is leverage a website to where they can go connect with a hard money loan officer in their state, in their market, and we get a point on that loan. So, like, I'm just I'm going through it like, "Man, I don't get this number here," and I'm calling, my hard money lender, and I record it, and he's giving me the reasoning behind it. We hop on a Zoom, he goes through the sheets with me, and I upload that. I mean, it's Zoom, it's not high production, but I'm catching that person exactly in the step that they're at, and then giving them a resource.
You've used that term a bunch of times, hard money lender. In my neck of the woods, when it comes to builder financing, hard money lenders traditionally are the lender of last resort. It means
It's
that
more of an
you're
investment loan. Yeah.
okay. So how does that differentiate from setting up these buyers with a conventional mortgage broker or a bank in the area?
Two different things. So, with our relocation and our Houston channel and with builders, we're doing, conventional or the majority of these builders around Houston have their own built-in lenders, and they provide a lot of incentives. So I do a lot of talk in my videos about the incentive programs that these builders are offering, especially in this current market. Like, to be able to get closing costs paid, to be able to, get $50,000 towards upgrades. Those are really, really big. And our clients are really wanting that and expressing that to us. So a lot of what I'm doing in videos and how I hook people hard is like, I'll like walk out of the house, just kind of a glimpse so they can see it and be like, that might be the craziest house I've ever seen. And here's what's crazier. It's $117,000 off today, and they might have one of the craziest incentives I've ever seen. It may not even be that crazy. It may not, and it's an inventory home that's been sitting, but that's my story. So I'm getting that story. Going and I talk to the sales rep. I say, "Give me your inventory sheets," right? Now at this point, they're calling us and saying, "Hey, Joe Jackson, like, hey, we got all these homes here. You guys should come shoot this," and like they know the traffic we bring. And the first thing I do is not start filming. Like I told you, I go get the stories. So I go in and I talk to these sales reps, and I also ask them, "Hey, this community is right next to that other really popular. What are most of your clients saying? Why are they choosing this, your guys' homes, your community over the popular one over there?" And you would think sometimes it's just price. A lot of times it's not. Be like, "Man, that other one, we get a lot of clients who come in here and they just say, 'Man, we really wanted Bridgeland, Cypress, Texas, but when we drove, it was so busy. There's so much traffic. There's so many people. And this one's just kind of hidden back there. There's no through traffic. But we're only 5 minutes from the HEBs, from the restaurants.'" These clients always say they get access to all that stuff and the schools, but they just don't have a million people in there. And they're at a point of life where they don't need these massive community, pools and slides and all that. So they're really enjoying, living here. And then again, they get way better bang for their buck. They can get these bigger homes for, better prices. So I got to hear the story. I'm very good at painting the picture of the story of that individual house and or community.
Are you seeing any patterns in terms of the relocation people that are coming to your channel?
I mean, the biggest pattern right now is new construction. So when I started this in 2017, 18, I never vlogged a single house. It wasn't about that. It was all about area first. So we did these vlogs. If we even showed houses, the videos didn't do that well. Everybody was just focused on life, lifestyles, lifestyle. COVID hit. We didn't know what the hell was going to happen for 2 weeks. Next thing you know, as everybody knows, the world went crazy and everybody moved. Well, there was no homes left. It was like I couldn't even go film a new construction. We would go into a new construction site and they would laugh and be like, "I mean, you can film, but there's an 8-month waiting list just to get a house." So we really relied on area and focusing on multiple offers. Like you need to get your ducks in a row. And if you got a house to sell, like we need to be communicating with your agent because your offer versus a local offer is a little bit different. The pattern we're seeing now, there's more inventory on the market and 90+% of our clients are going new construction. So like there has been three real distinct patterns since my time of doing this. And yes, we still get clients move to token areas in around Houston that are the Woodlands, Kingwood, where I live, where there is no new construction because they just want it. And I got to make sure I highlight those areas as well because a lot of people still move there. But yeah, the pattern right now is shit. Why not move to Houston and get this brand new 3,500 square foot house with no closing costs, $80,000 in upgrades paid for, and they're going to buy my interest rate down to 4%. And there's community pool. Like that's kind of the wave we're seeing in post COVID. I think kind of changed the mindset of people of, well, if that ever happens again, I don't want to be in this little apartment. Like I need space. I need a house. Like working from home was miserable. We were all packed on top of each other. And so I think there was a little bit of a pattern mindset shift too. Which is why I think like a Texas, like one being Southern Sun Belt red or whatever, but also I think it's like, okay, I need bigger home. I need more space. And I think honestly, people are buying homes from 80 years old to 18 years old, but the major like if you were to take like, okay, where's like the majority of it? It's probably in that like 35 to 55 range right now. As the boomers and all that kind of stuff, like they're in the peak of their careers, they're moving a lot for jobs, and that's kind of like who we target mainly.
You've talked a lot about creating your videos are like an hour long. With AI coming in and AI is spitting out unlimited content, do you see the quality or what's the word I'm looking for? The impact of the videos that you make, will AI impact that at all?
No, it's actually helping me right now. YouTube has selections on when you upload a video, is any of this AI created? YouTube does not want to push AI created content. But again, my sole business, where I make my money is me. They're calling me, right? They want to work with me. And so I've dipped harder into that. I'm actually shooting more raw videos than I've ever done where I'm not out in communities and drones and some of my best performing videos, I take my camera, I go in my backyard, my dogs are walking around, my kids might be playing, and I just tell you how it is. And they're going crazy, stupid. Like I think, yes, AI, all this stuff, whatever, but it's like really, again, we're making the biggest purchase of our life. Like it's stressful. You're just looking for someone you can trust, It's made it more valuable to be more raw and honest on these videos.
Yeah, they're looking at you like Moses, deliver us to the promised land. It
Yeah.
goes back to that know, like, and trust factor. When you talk about you grab your camera, are you referring to like your iPhone or you've got a professional rig? Like, what do I need to get started doing videos?
Yeah. You'll hear a lot of kind of like I'll say like gurus or influencers or whatever, especially in the real estate world of just grab your phone. Dude, phones make incredible videos. I ain't gonna lie, but I don't like using my phone. And I coach a lot of agents. Some do use phones, but for the most part, I just find it difficult because one, typically people film with their phone, and I'm a long form guy. If you're doing short form content, 100% just use your phone. Yes, that's fine. I'm a long form guy. Most people will turn their phone with the screen facing them, and guess what they do? They look off. They're looking at themselves on the screen the whole time, and now their eyes aren't even on the. And then if you turn it backwards, you don't really know if you're in the screen or not. And then I would be out filming with my phone early on because again I was broke, and a phone call would come in and it would shut my video off. Then I didn't know where I was. Then I would get home and I got all this footage on my phone and I got to try and offload. It was a pain in the ass. So it's funny. My business partner and I are 180 out. I'm just like this free flowing, give me whatever works and I can make it work. I just want to get it done as fast as I can and have fun. He's more of the like, well, if we're gonna be the best, we gotta buy the best type stuff. So I'm filming with my phone early on and it worked, this is 2015, whatever. And I'm like, I need a new camera. If we can get a new camera, so I'm like doing all the research for it and stuff. And it was right when the GoPro Hero 7
Yeah.
Black came out.
Okay.
The Hero 6 did not have the built-in stabilization. The Hero 7 Black was the first one where it was built-in stabilization and really crazy. It just looked amazing. And I told him, like, "I'm getting a GoPro." And he's like, "Are you kidding me?" He's like, "Dude, go get the Sony or the what." And I'm like, "No, dude, this solves, like, all my problems." So my logo for Channel Junkies, which is where I teach real estate agents, is me holding up a vlog camera with a GoPro Hero 7. I filmed 1,000 videos with that thing. Couldn't be easier. It's so wide angled, you're always in the frame. It's got the coloration just like because it's an action camera, like, it's meant for it, for outside vlogging. I used a GoPro for a lot. I probably got 20 GoPros behind me. I have since graduated, again, I'm not a tech guy at all. People peg me as that, but I'm set it and forget it. I use Sony cameras now. I really like Sony, I think they were just meant for like video and vlogging. So very easy. I set it at 1080 at 60 frames per second. I don't shoot 4K. Those video files are massive. Everything gets rendered down. I use like a Sony camera and a gimbal now. There's also like I have one up here. It's a DJI
Yeah, the
Pocket 3.
pocket.
Dude,
Yeah.
they're insane. Like, and the big thing now for me is really, I mean, I tell people, and I think I probably could use a camcorder, like the big shoulder one, and I could probably kill it just because of the way I am on video. But audio is really, really important now. So I do use like DJI wireless lavalier mics for me, my business part, whoever I'm shooting with, just to capture that really good, crisp audio. Other than that, I might even buy an expensive camera, but I'm not going to do all the features on. I'm just going to set it at 1080 at 60 and automatic. And so it dims, does all that kind of stuff.
So the barrier to entry for a couple $100, you can be putting out really good content.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
at a bare basic, using your iPhone, put it on a gimbal, you're good to go, or on a stand. And then once you get comfortable with this, you migrate up to the GoPro or to the Osmo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and again, in an AI world, like, that whole, like, kinda camera in your face so that's why I love vlogging too, and all the real estate agents know me as saying, like, "If you're the king of the vlog, you're the king of the city," is what I always say, and if people want that vlog, they want that there's stuff moving behind you, but there's something about carrying a camera at arm's length that puts you in it that, like, it's all you, like, it's like they get to see you. I have a lot of agents who do those YouTube channels where there's a big kind of theme going on where they have this giant home in the thumbnail and they get 150, 200,000 views, a million views, and they do these home tours. Yet they're calling me and going, dude, I don't get any leads from this. Like, and they get pulled up on all these stages. I got all these other agents going, man, I see this other guy's getting hundreds of thousands of views. And I'm like, I know the behind the scenes. And they go, well, why is that? And the agents that have those channels with tens of thousands of subs and these beautiful home tours and all that, they've created an entertainment channel, right? So it's strictly just to view the house. There's no connection. There's no human in there. So they don't get phone calls. And so I have them change and I'm like, you need to put your face on the thumbnails because that's the brand. People click my videos now because they just see my face. They know that I make good videos. Secondly, if you're doing a home tour the whole way, they start incorporating themselves in the home tour. And guess what the comment section does? Get the hell out of the video, dude. I don't want to see your mug, man. All I want to see is this house. So they built this whole audience who is just there every week to watch these crazy houses and they don't get any leads. And yet here I am with a GoPro with it stuffed in my face talking about, you know, my 3 kids and just having fun with these and just, "Hey, call us, we can help you." And I mean, generated tens of thousands of leads out of it.
Wow. Let's do a lane change. I'm going to ask you, I call it rapid fire. I've got 10 questions and I don't want you to think about it. As soon as I give you the question, just fill in the end. So the faster, the better.
Okay.
Ready? Search-based content beats paid advertising because
You're reaching the human, the person in the search phase, which is the beginning process of the sales process. The sales process starts with seeking information.
okay, the biggest mistake builders make with content is
I would say, ooh, that's actually kind of a tougher one. Having no like hook to it, because you got to answer a question. Search based means you got to answer questions. So, video opens about you, your name, your house. It didn't answer a question. Are you looking for such and such style home?
okay. A builder becomes dangerous online when
Dangerous in which way? Good or bad?
either way, it's your question.
I think a builder would become dangerous or anybody when the focus is ragging on another one and why you do it better. Nobody wants to hear the combatant style, right? So don't compare yourself to others and why you do it. We want to just hear your story and trust you. So don't put anybody else down ever.
Good point. Don't beat up the competition.
Yeah,
Consumers trust builders faster
when they are just themselves raw, why they telling their story.
the builders who dominate online over the next decade will
Partner with the best YouTubers.
okay. Subtle plug, ever so subtle plug there, man. When I finally get a rare hour completely to myself, I enjoy doing
Golf, love it.
yeah,
But I got 3 kids in sports, so I'm coaching and I love sports.
the one place that helps me clearly reset and think is
Any just vacation with the fam. It's the
uh,
best. Nothing better.
a book, a movie quote that stayed with me longer than expected is
I don't know. Joe Dirt, Life's a Garden, dig it.
okay. You can quote your own videos too. I guess that would have
Well, I
that
do
would
have
have
my
been the
own
no
I do have my
brainer.
own
Yeah.
book. It's pretty
Okay.
fascinating about how I created this whole thing too, but that one's pretty that's second place.
Okay. When somebody gets to know me, they'd be surprised about.
I'm a normal dude. People wanna, like, embellish this celebrity style. I am as normal as it gets.
All right, man. We've covered a lot of territory here. Any parting words? Anything that we missed that you want to touch on?
No, other than just it's a long road and journey, and the I've been in rooms with a lot of really successful creators and just business owners, and all of it all boils down to one story. They did, like, the small actions a lot. They just never stopped, and a lot of their stories take 2, 3, 5, 7 years, and you get to see them, unfold at the end, but it's that just continuous work and understand that it's not gonna happen tomorrow.
I think you could really underline that because they get to that point where they're almost about to make the breakthrough,
Yep.
and then they stop doing it.
99+% of people quit YouTube and podcasts after 3 episodes. So,
Man.
it's very difficult to do, and if you just stay consistent with it, you'll learn from your viewers and the algorithm, like, what's working and what's not.
All right. Jackson, my friend, they want to find out more about you. Where can they go?
My easiest one is, if you're looking to learn how to do this video stuff is Channel Junkies. If you go to YouTube, search Channel Junkies. I've been documenting this process for, like, 7 years. I am on Instagram and Facebook, Jackson Wilkey, just to see my daily life. That's really the easiest.
Well, thanks, my friend, for taking time out today. I'm going to say to be continued because we only tapped on the surface.
Oh, yeah.
Or scratched the surface in terms. I think next round we got to do a deep dive into more. Here are the action steps to really get them revved up and going.
Yep. Love it.
All right. Enjoy Texas. I'll be out there soon.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Thanks for listening to Builder Straight Talk. Make sure to like, comment, and share this episode on your favorite social media platform. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, available wherever you get your podcast streaming fix. Until next time, keep building smarter. This episode is made possible by our parent company, Sound Capital, funding built for builders.